is on the phone, is that right?
All right. Okay, Seiko-chan, onegaishimasu.
Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Seiko Shinohara in Japan. Thank you for inviting me for such a wonderful conference.
Okay, here is a letter from Seiko to everyone. I will read it aloud. Okay. I was born and raised in Japan for 6 years. I have lived in Yakushima, an island on the Pacific Ocean, which has been...
I just want to ask people who have their mics open, can you just mute it so that we can hear, because Seiko has the phone, everybody has the phone, so Seiko can hear her and they're like translating to each other. So it's quite a big thing all over the world. We're trying to work out in different language. So if you can all mute your phone so we can hear Erin clearly. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll try again. I was born and raised in Japan for 6 years. I have lived in Yakushima, an island on the Pacific Ocean, which has been a natural World Heritage Site since 1993. I live in cross relations with the environment of the island, respecting the spirit surrounding its territory. I have been involved in educational activity around menstruation for more than 10 years. Inspired by women in Japan's association history who were able to control the flow of their menstruation bleeding, I felt a desire to bring together the women of modern age and follow the example of our ancestors, learn what they had been able to learn. I started organizing Keaki Hat workshops to teach how to control menstrual bleeding, but also to create space where women could learn about the blood cycle and discuss it, share experiences, support each other, and empower their femininity without feeling ashamed. I encourage people to become more open and share the information with everyone who might be interested or concerned. Another aspect of my activity is concerned to environmental awareness, a matter which I care about deeply. A vast majority of women in Japan use disposable pads during their period, which creates a lot of non-recyclable waste. I wanted to spread awareness of the impact it has on our planet and encourage them to switch to reusable cotton pads. I began producing original cloth pads, which are environmentally friendly and easy to make at home. I am developing a paper pattern and getting ready to sell the sewing set online. In order to make them accessible for everyone, my cloth pads are shaped like a fish, which makes them look cute and fun to make. One of my hopes for the future is to organize the kids for workshops for children at schools. I believe that sex education in the Japanese school system is not developed enough. In my opinion, it is essential to create an environment where kids and adults can talk and answer each other's questions without embarrassment. Another project I have is producing natural cosmetic that creates for skincare.
Thank you.
All right.
Eddie, thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Thank you, Seiko. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
Seiko is dear to my heart. And I really, I've heard about having the conscious flow that, certain women can learn to have reconcile with their body, where they're not a victim of when their flow comes, and they can actually choose to have the release when they want, whether it's in the bathroom or in nature. But it was wonderful. I discovered with Seiko that it's something that was an ancestral knowledge in Japan that's been forgotten, that she's bringing back. So I applauded that, and I do feel that we have a lot of wealth from our traditions to regain that are also empowering. So thank you very much, Seiko.
Thank
and I
you.
look forward to continuing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Majid, Seiko, could you put your email in chat? And Ari, if you want to do that also, so that people can reach you and talk to you about your project. That's been a request. And if all the speakers could do that, that would be really wonderful.
ちゃんとね。
Yeah, very good idea. I know Ari made who can translate for Seiko, and it was provided in English. So yeah, you can put it
そん
there.
ないっぱい載ってるよ。
And we will have the question and answers at the end of all the speakers for the people who want to ask questions. And it's very dear for me, the Eastern world. You know, I love Japan and love India.
すごいよ、エリ
For my
ちゃんどう
Japanese
する？
sister, I now move to my. Sorry, Seiko, you have to close your microphone. Your microphone has to be on mute because we hear you. If not, everybody who's not speaking, please close. I'll remind again, please close your microphone. So yeah, without further ado, I pass the speaker to my sister, Sena from India. Please, Sena, it's yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Sneha Roo. So I'm from India. I'm a palliative physician, so I take care of people with chronic illnesses. But I'm the founder of an organization called Ori Kalankini. So that organization works with menstruation using art, theater, and dialogue. We have been operational from 2013, and our work mainly involves getting people connected to their bodies, because I think once we just get connected to our bodies, then, you know, when we start living with our cycle, things just become easier. So one thing we focus on is getting connected to our bodies. Second thing we focus on is to have conversations around menstruation in an intersectional approach. So it's not only about menstruation, but it is also about gender. It is also about the environment. It is also about the caste. So because, I mean, we are not people with one identity and one problem. So we are looking at even the issue of menstruation from an intersectional perspective. And our work usually is towards menstrual educators like yourself, so that you could also approach your work in an first embodied way, that is using the body, and second in an intersectional way. Third pillar our organization stands for is for the environment, just like Seiko's. Our policies, our practices are only sustainable products. We actively denounce the use of plastic pads, and we don't talk about it, we don't mention it in our website, except for two conditions. One, when we're talking about people who are intellectually disabled, and second, in humanitarian crisis, where there are floods, where there are, you know, major disasters. I think it should be used as a rescue remedy, but not as a norm just because it's convenient. So this is what we are working on. And why I do that, why I do what I do is I got to experience menstrual circles and red tents back in 2011, and that is when I started understanding the effect of connecting to my body and all that it could bring. So I automatically started listening to the earth cycle also, and when I started resting according to the earth cycle and listening to my body, I found that I was able to function better, I was being more productive, and automatically one form of courage came inside me. And I wanted this to be the experience of everybody. And this is what we do. We take this knowledge to the schools, we take it to the prisons in India, and we train other facilitators to do that. So thank you. I'm very glad to be able to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, my sister. You know, I feel empowered already to have met all of you, and I'm now going to pass the stage to a brother who has empowered me as well tremendously from his support, from his humanity, because as I said in the beginning, it is not only a women empowerment, it's not only something that concerns women, the menstruation, it concerns men too, because it's a human right. And we're all here to reflect how we can empower each other and how we can take action by coming together, and how we can, as Alexander says it so beautifully, human better. So Alexander, c'est à toi.
Merci, Magie. Thank you so much for including me and for including the voice of the full spectrum humaning. Of course, there are people from all over the world here, and I'm so happy to see that there's also the inclusion of both men and women in this engagement. As Magie was just saying, and as Sneha was also emphasizing before, this is about a birthright that all humans have. It's human dignity entitlement. We're born with this, and for people to take that away through shaming or through making simply non-empathy, I think is a critical issue in our times today, to create greater empathy among humans. And this has to do with being human. It has to do with, so in other words, both men and women. It has to do with being part of the living world, animals and plants. It has to do with all of our planets, because there's a cycle, as Sneha also alluded to. There's a cycle here. This goes with the moon. We returning blood to the earth. This is a pattern of deep sacred engagement. And so the red tent and the moon lodge in many cultures are ways of honoring that rather than shaming it. To bring back that engagement, that honoring, I think is a task for all people. In the poll, we asked, whether or not your mother explained this to you. Fathers should be involved in this as well. The conversation needs to happen among all of us. And I know that when my daughter went through menarche, her mother was traveling at the time. And so she came back from having been out and said, something happened. And it was such a celebration that we went through, because this is a natural rhythm. This is entry into womanhood. This is such an honor to be part of this. And yes, there is also the physical difficulty of how do you control this? So this is very interesting that Seiko has something that actually has this aspect of I don't want to say control, but being able to learn to flow with the flow. Yeah. And I don't want to carry on too long about this, but I just want to say that for me, the rhythm and the ritual that brings this back into natural relation, that brings this back into who we are as full human beings, nothing to be ashamed of, always to be celebrated. I think this is part of, I'm so glad that men and women can be involved in this conversation. It requires an education for us all. Thank you. I'm going to leave my contact information here in the chat.
Thank you so much, my brother, for really summing it up together so well, because that's exactly what motivated me to start Andalai Empower, to create together awareness. So because, we are one blood family, and we can all raise this topic higher. And one of the ways by coming together like this. So thank you all for being here. So without further ado, I believe now Linda can take over for the questions. I don't know if some people have sent questions by chat or are ready to share their questions. Linda?